Welcome
Very good.
everyone to our workshop meeting. We will begin with the president's report, which I have no report this evening, and move on to the superintendent's report. Ms. Weldon?
The article. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm gonna save the majority of my report for downstairs because we have a number of students here this evening that we'll be recognizing, which makes me very, very happy. But we do just have a few events. I think the board received invitations to the math awards tomorrow, and we have band concerts, a number of events coming up. I'll let the student representatives speak to most of it, and if there's anything that they leave out, I'll remind everybody down in regular. So
Thank you.
that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. School Business Administrators Report, we have Mr. Cass with us tonight. Welcome. You have a report?
Yes, just
Okay.
one thing to touch upon. A broadcast came out last week, basically saying how districts who had a loss in funding from 2021 through 2025 would be able to recoup those funds. In our case, it would be approximately $1.17 million. If now it's not an all or nothing, so we can, but if we took all of it, it would, so we currently approved an increase of 2.86 on our levy. It would result in an increase of 4.50 against our levy, because it would be for next year's budget. When Mr. Hastings comes back, Ms. Weldon and all the administrators are working together to assess our needs, programs that were cut, things like that, how we would actually utilize those funds if it's something we were interested in pursuing.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Mr. McCarthy? So this is not like a state aid increase. This is an expansion of the amount that we are allowed to levy our town against.
Correct.
That's correct.
That is the relief that came out to the school districts through broadcasts. It allows school districts to recoup the loss in state aid. There's two prongs to this allowance. The first one is for districts who lost money in aid this year. We do not qualify for that first opportunity. The second one is for districts who have lost aid from the 2021 aid number to the 2025 aid number. You take those 2 years, 2021, 2025, the difference, as Mr. Cass said, which is 1.17, you are then allowed to increase your tax levy by that amount of money. And your limitation is 9.9%. So as long as you do not go up above 9.9%, you can increase your tax levy by that much. So we are discussing whether we should recommend that we do that, whether, what are the pros and cons of doing it, of not doing it. It would increase our base going forward, and then therefore our 2% is higher. But we also have no idea what our state aid would be and what we would be losing. So we're being conservative in looking at what we should do here, and also thinking about that increase to our taxpayers and how that would impact them. So we're processing it. We're reviewing our budget. We're reviewing things that we cut. We're reviewing things that we were not able to get in, and we are still in the process of doing that. We really don't have recommendation at this point.
Wait, me?
Mr. Weinstein.
Oh, you, thanks. I'm looking up on the television, I'm going over here, got my eyes all over the place. Where did we get this from? Like, where did this come from? What department, what group?
I believe the portion of it, it's from the whole American Rescue Plan. It's money left over from that.
Is a state?
Yeah, the Department of
state of
Education
Education.
sends a broadcast to the school districts, letting them know that this is now available. This is an option. We've never been able to go above the 2% tax
Yeah.
levy cap, right?
Yeah.
We never have been able to. This broadcast is giving us direction that there are two prongs that
Yeah.
they are making available to districts. The first one,
understand, I
excuse
understand.
me, the first one I said we don't qualify for. The second one, we do, but this is what it needs.
I was just wondering I was more about who engineered this.
Well, we received,
Yeah.
Wasn't it the assembly?
I believe so, but
Yeah, it was an assembly bill in April.
But it's been going through in response to districts that lost huge amount of money and were unable
Tom's
to.
River.
It was two separate
So low
resolutions,
cap.
one for the first prong Kelly mentioned and this one.
But the answer was to
Okay.
tax the taxpayers.
Put it on the school board.
Put it to school.
Ms. Gilman.
So the 4.50 that you mentioned, Elliot, that would be for next year?
It would be for the,
2025.
right, the budget we just passed,
The
we
budget
could
we-
amend
We would amend the budget.
if we wanted to, if that was the direction we were going to go. This allows us to do that.
And the deadline for that would be?
Right.
It would be July, I believe, is the date, but I think with our
Yes.
meetings, we would probably be discussing it in June.
If we choose not to do that, does that have any effect if we do or not on next year's aid?
The aid, we don't know, but it does have an impact on our, what 2% is the following year that we can increase. Because you're basing it off of a different base amount of money. If we take the money, we'll have a higher base and 2% of that will be more. If we don't take it, 2% of what we have will be less than what it would be if we took it.
Thank you.
But we do not know the funding formula that will be used to
Because
Provide us,
S2 expires, right?
provide us aid.
And we don't know the new
But a
formula
surplus
yet.
stays in effect until.
Um,
Any other questions?
I think I'm gonna do this in the
Okay,
open at the end. I'll come back to this so we can move this ahead.
Mr. McCarthy.
I just need to make sure that this is clear. We have been previously allowed to go above a 2% levy.
With
With the vote.
with waivers, if we are
Right.
entitled to those
Right.
waivers.
banked cap.
And bank cap, yeah, so this is not the first time. And I'm taking my own opinion of this and slapping it on here because I think that sometimes this gets very confusing, so for the layman, my opinion of this is that this is just a ridiculous way to try to solve a problem in a state where we have had a massive surplus in taxes in previous years. And instead of the state doing their job, properly funding our schools like they should have in post-pandemic, they are now just trying to put it on the school boards to make this decision and to try to force us to go out to our town and take a bunch of money from the people who are paying their taxes here. And it does not solve the problem. And I
You'd
am
almost
so frustrated and irritated that this is the solution that the assembly has come up with for us. And I don't believe that this is acceptable.
I might as well.
Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah. So, one is, I don't like the idea that the answer is, let's figure out how to get all the taxpayers to do this. I think I don't think that that doesn't feel great to me. One of the things that we had is we did have a discussion, we did have the correspondence with, our senator on funding. It was a correspondence. I think it would probably be appropriate for us to address that letter, to really kind of see why our expenses have gone up. According to the letter, a little disproportionately to what everybody else has done. I think we should probably do some retrospective looking at that to see what holds, what doesn't hold. And because there's more money available to us, I think both of those things being understood and what this financing is. I know I'm combining two things here, but it seems that.
But did you see our letter? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Her
did you see
response,
Kelly's
yeah.
response to
I
it?
did not see Kelly's response.
Yes.
Okay, because we
She
did.
responded.
Oh, I didn't see the response.
Yeah, we gave a pretty, and then we got another response.
Oh, I haven't been part of
So
that.
then that's my fault as
Oh, I
the
did
committee
not see
chair for that.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So potentially we can either bring all of this out into the discussion for the board as a whole, or we
Okay.
can, and just so the board of the whole is clear, because this was introduced, there were no decisions by the committee there was private correspondence between our senator and our school business administrator and our superintendent basis a meeting that the committee had that we reported minutes out on. They have been going back and forth discussing data samples that are being provided and questioning the validity of them. Which should the board want, we can just present all of that.
And I think this can be, in June, once we've had a chance to digest what's available to us, what we would be recommending, and Mr. Hastings is here, this wouldn't just be part of a report, but it would be an agenda item.
Yeah.
Both
Exactly.
But can
That's
you
my
make
fault.
sure you?
That's my
okay,
fault.
all
I'm
right,
sorry. I need to get you that.
Okay.
I thought I did. I apologize.
Okay.
That's all right, cool.
All right, let's move on. We will now go, does that complete your report?
Yes.
Okay, we will now move on to the action items. Mr. Bakari.
Yes, I would like to present items, sorry, item 6.1, meeting minutes.
Any
Any
discussion?
comments, questions, or discussion regarding those minutes?
None.
Okay,
No, we're gonna do it.
all right. Personnel,
We went over.
okay. Financial management, Mr. Weinstein.
Oh, I don't want to do that, sorry.
Here.
Call it.
Here. Is anyone here tonight?
We should be.
So, 8.1, discussion renewal of, CP Power Demand Response Agreement. Anything we want to discuss around that?
Is there anything? Yeah, Elliot?
Elliot.
So yeah, it's just a program that we participate in during the summer, like JCP&L will contact us if like they are concerned about possible power outages or power emergencies in the area. They'll let us know, they'll let our buildings and grounds guys know, and they can turn off certain like, solar panels or whatever, and it'll save energy, and then we get a like approximately the last year we did it, we got about $7,000 back, so
Oh.
you know, but it's totally optional, we can always just say no, but they will call and request, though, can you guys do anything to help us out, type of thing.
All right, anybody have any questions?
I'll be ready next time.
Thank you, Mr. Weinstein. All right, we will move on to instruction, education, and student activities, Ms. Gilman.
Thank you, Madam President. There are 4 items up for discussion. Internships, professional development, curriculum writing hours for new courses. We'll be voting downstairs if there's no discussion or question on these items.
Anybody have any questions? Any comments?
Our usual education, instruction memos, PD.
And this was all, this was all budgeted for, right, these hours?
Yes. Anybody else? Okay, we will move on to old business. Is there any old business from the board? No? Is there any new business?
I was just going to comment on the junior prom and just say what a wonderful job that Ms. Kowalewski and all the advisors did, and the students looked like they had a fabulous time, even though the weather was not very cooperative, and I know the hard work that goes into it, and I congratulate students and staff
Very nice. Where was it held?
at our school,
Oh,
at the
very
high
good.
school,
Very
in the
nice.
courtyard, and
Beautiful.
from what I understand, there's going to be some artistic work done in the courtyard in the future by our art teacher, and they're going to put down some mosaics and really do a nice job on that courtyard.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice to hear that.
It's exciting.
Anyone else? Any new business? All right. At this time, we will take public comments on any item. Is there anyone here that has any public comment? Okay.
Madam President, Madam President, there are no virtual commenters, but please give me a moment to check the auditorium.
No virtual commenters, just check it out.
Madam President, there are no commenters in the auditorium either.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Conway. All right, may I please have a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn. Second.
Second, Weinstein. All right, we'll see you downstairs. Thank you.